So February 2020, I get a letter from immigration asking me to come in for my citizenship interview. And I'm excited, but also a little anxious because I've been living in the country for 24 years now. I came here from Canada. Before that, I was living in the Philippines. And throughout this entire time, I've been wanting to become a citizen. And now I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being able to vote. I'm looking forward to jury duty. I'm looking forward to just being done with all of this because, it's been a long time. And even though I didn't have a voice at the ballot box, I wasn't going to stay silent. I'd been getting involved with protests for the Iraq War. I had ideas about who I want to be my mayor, to be president, what should be done with my taxes. I would volunteer to phone bank for transgender protections. And then in this past year, I still wanted to make a difference. And I wound up getting a job as a director of engineering, leading teams working on websites like iwillvote.com, which help people across the country find out how to register to vote, where to vote, and ensure that everyone's vote counts. And February 2020, which is when I was supposed to be doing my immigration interview, was also the time of the Iowa caucus. And I Will Vote was going to be the main site where Iowans were going to find out about their caucus locations. And so at this time, my team and I, we are busy working to get all of the polling locations loaded. And these are places that range from big churches in cities like Des Moines to small venue halls in farm towns across the entire state. And there are sometimes county fairground offices, sometimes classrooms, sometimes not even on Google Maps. And we have to get all this data in. We have to match them to the right precinct. We have to make sure we have good mapping tools so that any Iowan's residential address can be matched to that same precinct. It's hard, detailed, unglamorous work. And while we're doing that, we're also preparing for cyber attacks, for the interference of anybody who wants to disrupt the process and discourage people from participating. We're doing 8 to 12-hour days, weekends. By the end, we do our job, and the Iowa caucus happens. Iowans are able to use our site to find out how to participate in the caucus. But then another team is responsible for the software to tally those caucus results, and their software fails. And I feel for them because, election technology, it's hard. Your software has to be perfect, and it has to be perfect on a specific day. If we have bugs, we can't ask for a do-over. We can't ask to move the election. My boss likes to say our ship dates are written to the Constitution. And I feel for them. And I'm in immigration the following day, and I'm looking up at this CNN news segment, and it's all about nobody knows who won in Iowa, uncertainty, chaos, and people are wondering, is this what the rest of the election is going to be like? And I remember going in for my interview, and the immigration officer asks me, what do you do? And I say, I work in election and voting technology. She looks at me and looks up at the TV, and it says, you've probably got a busy day. I'm probably not going to keep you too long. I appreciate that, but also, even though my stuff worked, the thing you have to always understand is with something this public, it's not your job or my job, it's our group responsibility to ensure that stuff works because so many people are relying on it. So the rest of that interview goes well. And then a few days later, I get another letter from immigration saying that, congratulations, you've been approved to become a citizen. Your last step is you need to take the oath of naturalization. And that will be on the 27th of February. And this is the thing I've been waiting for so long. And I'm just really excited. But also, the 27th of February is the last Thursday before Super Tuesday, which is the biggest primary event before the general election. Iowa was stressful, but Iowa was one state. Super Tuesday has 13, including Massachusetts, and including huge states like California and Texas. My teams and I, we are still doing 8 to 12-hour days. We're still doing weekends to get the site ready for that. And now I have this choice, right? I could take a day off and go in and swear my oath of naturalization. And I could vote in the Massachusetts primary for the first time. Or I could take a day, I could ask to reschedule and forego that, but take that time to actually help my citizens vote. And with the debacle in Iowa is still fresh in my memory, that seems to be the only right choice. So I write to immigration and I ask for a reschedule, and immigration grants it. They say your ceremony has now been rescheduled to the 18th of March. And that seems fine. I mean, like, what could go wrong? Well, the 27th, which was when I was supposed to have my naturalization ceremony originally, the day after that is the Biogen Super Spreader Convention. And on the 2nd of March is the first confirmed case of COVID in the Commonwealth. And, you know, like, in the midst of this, I'm getting letters from immigration. Like, you know, originally my venue was going to be at Faneuil Hall. There was going to be a big ceremony talking about the history of America and the role immigrants played in it. I could have brought all these friends and family in to help see me through this. But then they're saying, okay, we're going to strip down the ceremony to its barest essentials. It's only going to be the oath. You can only bring one person with you. And then by the end of the week, that first week of March, there are 13 confirmed cases in Massachusetts. And I get another message from immigration saying that we're moving this from Faneuil Hall to a conference room in Government Center, and there'll be no guests. Like my wife, who's been with me for the last 6 years through this process, she can't come. And then on the 15th of March, Governor Baker closes the restaurants and closes the schools and issues a stay-at-home order. And I get a letter from immigration saying that my ceremony has been postponed indefinitely. And I realize that, you know, this past year, like, I've been lucky. My wife and I, we still have our jobs. All of the people I care for, they've managed to stay healthy. But that word, indefinitely, that stung. Because, you know, so much of the immigration experience in this country has been about dealing with moving goalposts. I mean, there's always another test to take, another visa you have to renew, another line you have to get into. And I'm just so tired of having to deal with these obstacles. And I remember when I found out about that, one of my coworkers said to me, you know, Cris, like, don't worry about it, you know, and like, if it helps, Massachusetts doesn't have same-day registration. You would have had to register to vote on 12th of February in order to vote in the primary. So you didn't miss on anything. I'm like, dude, you know, I know what you're trying to do, but it's not helping because the thing I want to be is a citizen. I don't have that yet. But, you know, my coworkers, they help me think through this and also recognize that we still have work to do. Like that week of March 15th, when I was supposed to be getting ready to do my naturalization, is also the week of the Florida primary. And Florida is losing polling locations left and right because their volunteers are pulling out because of the public health crisis. And we are keeping up with those changes at the last minute. Other states are moving to mail-in voting, and we are making that move with them. We are changing the site to show more information about how to vote by mail, how to look up a drop box. And we keep up with that because the democracy still has to work during a pandemic, especially during a pandemic. And as the months go by, you know, my brain goes into that, and I get a new letter in June from immigration saying that we are now able to reschedule, and your ceremony will be on June 12th. It'll still be the same thing. It has to be in conference room, Government Center. I can't bring any guests. And so there I am, 7 other immigrants, all getting ready to make this step. And our oath is going to be administered by an Army veteran who came from here from Nigeria. And she looks at us and says that, I know that many of you wanted others here. None of us makes this journey alone. But I made this journey too. Even if I'm a stranger, I can at least be your witness here. And I appreciated that, to be seen in that way. And so, in June, I took my oath, and I became a citizen. And I went home and celebrated with my wife with some fancy takeout sandwiches and a glass of Madeira to toast like the Founding Fathers did. And I went back to work. And in September, I voted for the first time in the state primary. And then early voting started. And I could remember just the amount of traffic that we got. It was more per day than in the entire November 2018 midterms, more than all of the primaries combined. Like state websites were buckling underneath that traffic, and we were picking up that slack. And I was really proud to see that Joe Biden and Steve Bannon told their voters to come to our site because it was just that reliable, that our information was that up to date and that good. And then I also voted in November. And after 24 years, I got to become a citizen and enjoy that. But I also learned in this past year that voting is more than, citizenship is more than just voting. Citizenship is about service, sacrifice, about giving your best to help your neighbors. And I also learned that indefinitely is not forever.